Hi, guys. Welcome to a little bit of woo woo. I'm your host, Jill Thomas. I'm so glad to see you guys. I'm so glad to have Jackleen back because stuff is going on in the world and in the stars. And we are about to enter the year of the horse, which I know makes a big difference because it's going to be different than the last year. But let's get started. First things first, we are going to talk about politics a little bit. We're going to talk about the year of the horse. Probably going to talk about 47 and a lot of other things. So this is for entertainment purposes only. If I say something bad or Jackleen and I say something bad about somebody else, just assume the word allegedly is in front of it, even if we haven't said it. Right. We are not stock portfolio managers, doctors, lawyers. If you need one of those, call one of those. I can speak for myself here. I'm right a lot, but sometimes I am just plain wrong. All of us that do this are, and timing is really tough. So having said that, let's introduce Jackleen. You guys have seen her on the show before. Jackleen Holton is an astrological life coach and intuitive counselor, helping clients all over the world for almost 30 years. Welcome, Jackleen. I'm so glad to see you. Yay!
So glad to see you. And I've known you for most of that almost 30 years.
Oh my God,
years,
that's true.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was a client. I've been a client of hers for that whole time, you guys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So here we are heading into the horse year, and I'm really excited about the horse year. I will tell you that. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. That's what the horse is. I very luckily have a kid who is a horse. And I was just talking to her this morning and saying, this year you've got to work harder, because I don't go with the assumption that, if you're a such and such, here you're going to have a better year than if you're a such and such. But one thing I say is that if you are the animal of the year, you are going to be more accountable. You need to be more accountable. You need to work harder and get in action. So she's getting lots of homework help and stuff. And,
she does mean an actual child, not a horse, you guys, just to be clear.
I have a little pony.
She has a little pony. Yes, I have a cat, and she has a kid. She has an actual kid. Okay, yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
And so you're the horse kid. Kids 12 or 24 or 36 this year, turning in this year. You probably have a horse too, or you are a horse if you're turning any of those ages. Or we could keep going, right?
Yeah, you guys can do the math. Just add 12 years to the last one.
Right. And the 60, those of you that are turning 60 this year, it's a very special horse year because it's your golden horse year, right? And that means really good things. It's a lot of good fortune. I think it's a fortunate year anyway, but you're going to have to work for your good fortune. You're going to have to do some things, jump through some hoops, jump over some hurdles, that sort of thing.
So talk about that. Is that true for so all of us, how can we, I don't know about y'all. I want some money.
Okay, I hear you.
How do we get money?
And the actual years that pertain to money, which are the earth years, don't always give us that. They usually bring a little tightening of it and make us be extra, resourceful, right? I was born in the year of the rooster. I think you're the year of the ox. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so we're these practical years, and we just want, things to go well with the economy and our own economy and business and that sort of thing. And sometimes during those years, I feel like it was a good year for my business because people had a lot of uncertainty and,
oh my God,
there was a lot of worry. A lot of people lost jobs, my husband included. We're still in that kind of jobless place right now. So, we have very positive expectations around it. And the horse is a very optimistic year, and you really want to adopt optimism. You really want to be living in the space that you want to be in, right? Wearing the life that you want as if you're living that life. Horses are really good at that, are really good at natural manifesting through action. And a lot of times people will watch a movie like The Secret and get that I just have to visualize, not actually do stuff, right? Or
oh my God, can I just jump in with that one? So I worked at Metaphysical Bookstore. I don't know how many people had come in and had just watched The Secret and wanted to buy like citrine spheres, which are supposed to help with manifesting. And they're like, I'm just going to put this in my house and it's going to draw in money. I'm like, you kind of should do some work too.
Yeah. follow your guidance is what I tell people. Ask for the guidance in prayer and meditation, and then follow it when it comes, even if it makes you uncomfortable, especially if it makes you uncomfortable. Because again, that horse year is adventurous, it's fast moving, it's very social, it's a people-ish year, right? And that we do have to have dealings with other people in order to get the things that we want. So networking is very favored, those kind of things. And, winning friends and influencing people, it's a horse year thing.
I love it. So wait, I forgot to mention, have you explain when this happens. So when does the year change? It's a lunar new year happens.
It happens on February 17th. Okay. Here on the Pacific Coast at 4:01 a.m. So as soon as you wake up that day, we're in the horse year, right? I would say you really want to celebrate it. Before I even say that, and this is something I just said in my regular video, is this time right now, between now and the 17th, is the time to really clean out your house. Okay. Get rid of anything you don't love, you don't need, you no longer use. It's not good enough for you. If you paid some money for it, you think, oh, I should get more use out of this. No, let it go. Okay. Let it go with the faith that you're going to get better things. Okay. So do that over the next couple of weeks. Make sure your house is clean on New Year's Day. That's one little tradition and custom that I strongly believe in. Another is, I say this every year, but get a little statuette of your animal, your Chinese year, your rooster or ox, whatever, and put it right next to the horse, same size, facing east in your house. And basically you're saying, hey, I'm going to adopt your qualities this year. I'm going to play your game. You're in control, right? Horse loves to be in control. All right. If you know anyone that's of the horse year, let them at least feel like they're in control. Okay. Like, I give my kid choices. Do you want this or this? Feels like she's in control. She's sometimes puts a third choice in. I say, no, these are the two choices, but you're in control of which of the two choices you want. Right.
I love that.
So, yeah.
So in terms of leadership, because this is about a control year, does that mean that there's going to be, and I'm kind of looking at the shadow side of this. Does that mean that in this year there's going to be more governmental control or anything like that? Is it trickle down that way?
Okay. This is probably the biggest point I will make. We've got this eclipse cycle coming up, and the new year starts with a bang on February 17th with a literal eclipse, right?
Oh, that's on the same day. Oh, I didn't catch that.
A solar eclipse. That's what brings in the new year. Okay. So it's already got a crazy birthday, right? The new year has a crazy birthday. And then we've got a couple of weeks later, we've got the lunar eclipse. That's a window of opportunity for how you want this world to be. It's like, if you're an activist of any sort, if you pick your project, call your representatives, not just protest. I mean, everyone can protest, but what do you do after that protest, right? What do you do after you get in the streets? Getting in the streets is very helpful because you're showing up. But how do you show up after that? How do you show up? Do you volunteer for a campaign? Whatever. So think about that. Think about what you want to do to keep showing up, especially during this time between eclipses, because it's a really important window. I call it the magical gateway. And I'm sure that is since we're on a little bit of woo-woo, I will tell you that is a very woo-woo way of putting it, right? You can affect a lot of change during that time, but also you're in a video game and people are throwing cans of paint. Things are happening which you have to respond to. There are rapid response networks for some of the things that are going on right now. So just maybe Google that. See, where do you want to be in relation to what's happening? I saw a meme today that was funny. I hope this email finds you in another timeline where none of this is happening. And since that email didn't find me in this place, right? How do I work with what's happening in order to, the horse is an activist. The horse is someone who works really well in groups, but in the right group. It's really important. My kid started off, going to preschool, everybody's friend. We'd go to a park and she saw kids on the swings and she'd say, my friends. She didn't even know the kids, ran over and started playing with them.
Aw.
I wish I had that, right? I'm a little, rooster and, Capricorn sun, Virgo moon. And I was really the opposite, right? And it's like, oh my God, she goes and just, and now she's really, really changed her group, the people she chooses to hang out with. She's realizing that there are people you don't want in that group, right? And so that's a little bit more of the clearing and cleaning you can do now, between now and February 17th. Who or what no longer belongs in my inner circle, right? Who do I want to spend time with, because you are sort of that amalgamation of the people you spend time with. But we can do a lot, but we have to do it pretty quickly and with more intensity in order to, the horse year is a year of freedom, and we all want freedom. And we're only going to get the freedom that we want for everyone. Right?
I love that. I love that.
Okay.
I love it. I love extending it too a little bit, because like I was just thinking about that Melania movie. I know it sounds like weird kind of. I'm realizing that like Jeff Bezos has way too freaking much money.
Right.
If he gave her like some insane, like $28 million or something. And I'm realizing, the movie's not going to make any money. So this is obviously not a money-making venture.
It's a donation, yes.
I paid for that with my Amazon Prime membership. And it made me wonder, like, do I really want to be supporting that?
Oh, you watched it?
No, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
Oh, I see. I see.
Because by having an Amazon Prime,
okay.
By having an Amazon Prime membership,
right.
Some of my money got contributed to that.
Right.
No, I didn't watch it. God.
The horse year is a perfect year to say, hey, back in the old days, we did not need our packages in 25 minutes.
That's
right?
not an exaggeration, you
and
guys.
We didn't need to sell our souls for our packages to come, that quickly. And how can we, like, every dime you're spending right now is important. I tell my husband not to go to a certain store that is very near our house, unfortunately, that sells home improvement stuff, because
that's his thing.
Yeah. But he's like, well, where else am I going to go? And he's kind of right, because all of them are sort of bad. But yeah, that's the one battle I have not been able to win. I think, okay, who needs corporate restaurants? I'm just going to put that out there, right? But we've got mom and pop restaurants, people celebrating their unique culture with a local restaurant. Why would we take that money and give it to a big corporation, especially in this age of oligarchy, right? So they have their plan over here, and you've got to have your plan. Like, how do I want to participate in that? And get together with a group of like-minded people and do what you can. Certainly, there are some people that have to use Amazon. I totally get that, right? There are people that have to go to Walmart and other corporations, right? Due to health reasons, financial reasons,
right.
etc. But what can I do right now? How can I, like, one of the things I say around the Lunar New Year is up your donations, right? Or give a little bit more around this time, because that will come back to you. That is one of those auspicious things to do around the new year, is to give those little red envelopes.
The red envelopes. Yes, I love that.
Kid gets one every year from her aunt. It's really cool. So it's nice to give those out. If you can go see a lion dance, celebrate the new year in some way, right? Go to a restaurant where they're having the lion dance, or go to a festival. I like to go to the one here in San Diego, downtown. But there's so many things that you can do just to, and it could be a glass of champagne or whatever in your own house, say Happy New Year, right? But it's the real new year. The character of the year changes, and we're relying on ourselves now. It's a realization that the cavalry isn't coming. We are the cavalry. I know. Right?
I agree with you on that.
Versus cavalry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And numbers, groups, that sort of thing. And disruption is a thing from both ends of the spectrum. We will have that disruption, and you got to learn to be a disruptor get into good trouble, whatever that means for you, right? But yeah, another thing about the horse year I'll point out that nobody really talks about is the sensitivity. There's so much sensitivity and the need for emotional regulation and control this year. The need for coping skills. That's really important. Not coping mechanisms, but coping skills. Little things you can do when you get triggered or when the news is too much. When the news is too much for me, what I do is, okay, I'm going to take some time off, but then what can I do? Right? How do I put my 2 cents in? This is a time where history is being shaped and we still have time to shape it. Come May or so, we may not.
Yeah, talk about that, because you mentioned that before we started recording. What's going on with that?
Yeah, it really depends on what we do now and how we make our voices heard. And a lot of that is the voices of our leaders, right? And I feel like a lot of my leaders are kind of being very, not having an appropriately strong response to this moment.
I can't find their balls. I'm sorry. Did I just say that?
There you go. And so calling
or their lady balls.
Writing, whatever, making your voice heard in a way that works for you. You know, I may be talking to people that have very different political beliefs than me, and I respect that, right?
Me too.
But I also respect Thomas Massey, who is a very
oh my God, my hero.
He's
Love him.
really stepping up along with Rokana and others about getting this Epstein material out, and I think it's gonna pretty much all come out. You know,
talk about that a little bit, because you and I kind of don't. I don't see all of it coming out. But tell me if I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
Yeah. Don't pay attention so much to the stuff about the tip lines. Anyone can call a tip line. Okay, they've put that in there just to they kind of led with that to make us think, well, there's some crazy allegations here. Yes, there are. There are people that are a bit nutty that will call the tip line whenever there's a news item, right? Okay,
or leave comments on a YouTube channel.
Right, exactly, right. So we're talking about the emails, the pictures. A lot of the victims' faces and names were not redacted, which is just such a breach, right? Such a obviously they're going about this in all the wrong ways, and even though we have this structure, that pressure has already begun to work. You saw, we wouldn't have this if it weren't for Thomas Massey and Rokana and us and everyone pushing for that. Even some people that you find out that some of the QAnon stuff.
Oh, I know. I was like, that's just too crazy. And I'm like, whoa, those are so true.
So there's a grain of truth in every kind of conspiracy theory, right? Usually some of them are way out
maybe
there.
Not Pizzagate.
No,
maybe.
Well, pizza, the fact that they're using the word pizza to mean young girls.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of codes. So they knew some of this, right? So even some QAnon people or people that kind of recognize a little bit of truth in that, because there's always that grain, are now coming over. Yeah, we want to see them. We want the transparency. So I do think they're going to come out one way or another. Some of them, it's been on slow roll, obviously, because it's very damaging to those in power.
And they're hard to, even the little clips where they say, hey, just warning you guys, this one's pretty bad. And you're reading it and you're going, oh God, I should have heeded that warning.
Yeah. What we need now is people that can really amplify that with a bigger voice, that can amplify what was really there and not get lost in sort of a Bill Barr sort of way. You remember when he came out ahead of the Mueller report, I was like, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. First of all, I don't believe that anyone believes that, right? There may be a handful, but there's a lot to see here. And eclipse cycles are famous for bringing out more stuff. So it's almost like this eclipse is so perfectly timed. I think we're going to see more things. You mentioned recently, and I assent to this, that foreign countries could release or leak.
I was seeing them kind of going through and trying to pull out their people. trying to redact their
Could,
people.
yeah. But
'Cause-
it's comparing like what they release. So yeah, there's a really good chance we're going to see most of it. I think we'll not see some of the more horrible things that we wouldn't want to see anyway. But someone has to look at that and say, this is what's here, and I bear witness to that.
Mm.
And I actually believe that there's going to be some progress.
Okay, that's encouraging. That's encouraging. Do you see anybody going to jail?
I hope so. I really do hope so. I think we're entering a time of more accountability. I don't know how fast that's going to happen. The timing, as you said, is one of the more difficult things. But I think, if anything, this shows, like all these rich people, these are big names that are being mentioned here, is we do not need billionaires. We do not need an oligarchy, because they just have way too much power to hurt people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to take away those freedoms. And that's what they're working on. And we see that in the files too.
Yeah, that is interesting. Somebody in my comments said something that was hilarious, and I'm just gonna call them out on that. I can't remember the name, but they were talking about 47, and they were saying his he had his check engine light on, and I was like, oh, somebody replied that it was actually the low battery light. What do you see? Do you see anything in the astrology around the horse year that would indicate a change of presidency?
Sudden disruptive events, yes. So that's a matter of time, and it's hard for anyone to say this particular time where a health event or some kind of event will happen. But yeah, there's a little window with the eclipse, and for the month following the eclipse that seems pretty prone to that kind of stuff. But I feel that within this year, you know, speaking of the horse year, and we're probably looking at the first half rather than the second half, that there'll be a change in leadership.
Okay. What else do you think is going to happen this first half or around the times of these eclipses and the change of the year that we should kind of put on our bingo card?
Oh, bingo card.
Oh God.
Bingo
Sorry.
cards are going to be wild. And you just put some wild stuff on there and see what happens. But you're going to, the most interesting people, the people you thought they're not going to do anything, you know, people you weren't even thinking of. There's starting to be that change. I have been talking for a while about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction and how that brings sort of the wet blanket to crazy, just craziness in general, zealotry, cult-like. It's the decultification, right? And one of the things that I said in my last little video was either because we had a movement of Neptune just recently into Aries, and again, and Saturn is there too around February 17th. They're both at 0 degrees, right? There's an exact day for that, but they're combust basically, which means at the same degree, and within 17 minutes of each other. So we are getting the brunt of that decultification now. And for a lot of people, that comes as a blow. But on the other side of the coin, so there's always two ways that a thing can go, right? And you've seen this in your life where you're like, I could either feel really optimistic right now, or I could really go down the, crapper about this situation, right? Which do I choose? We've all had that moment in our life, and most recently I had it in spades, right? Which part of this do I want to look at? But that's what's happening. We either we dissolve the illusion, which is Neptune, with true spirituality, which is the other half of Neptune, our true north, and that's not necessarily religion. It is, what would Jesus do? It's what Jesus would really do, right? Or any other spiritual leader worth a damn, right? maybe not L. Ron Hubbard, but but you know what I'm saying. Don't cancel me because of that. You can't really cancel me. I have tens of viewers. I'm good.
There is some benefit to not having anything to lose.
Right. I'm just here for my clients. I'm just here for my peeps. But yeah, so either we are going to really dissolve illusion with truth and real spiritual doing in the world, doing as Jesus, the Buddha, let's just say Jesus, doing as Jesus would do, or the illusion is going to be more greatly militarized. And
interesting.
Both of those things are going to happen for a while. There's going to be a tug of war.
So humor me on this question. Humor in this one.
Yeah.
You said decultification. It sounds like, illusions going away. What kind of illusions could we be talking? Could we be talking about the illusion that fixing the midterms coming and all the Democrats is going to fix everything, or the illusion that about election results? I'm just kind of saying, like, are we talking about all kinds?
It could be
spectrum of illusions,
like the January 6th illusion, or the anything. Illusion is anything that really isn't true, right? Illusion can be playing video games all day, watching, certain movies that give you unrealistic expectations or whatever. It can be fairy tales. It can be anything along those. It can be doing too many drugs. Can be the darker side of Neptune, right? So, but Saturn is a wet blanket over everything it touches. It says, really, and Saturn is the light of truth. The other thing about Saturn, it gets a bad rap, but it's really the easiest planet I should say the simplest planet to work with, because when you bring Saturn to anything, Saturn's can combust Neptune right there. It's shining the light on the bull pucky. Okay. And people are saying, not me, unfortunately, I still have some cultists in my family, but some of them have gone a little bit more silent, right? But anything that was not the truth, anything that was born of hate, fear, that's Saturn is saying, hey, I'm shining the light on all this. That's part of what the Epstein files being more, in the public eye, coming out, verifying what victims have been saying, if we would just believe victims, right? For years. And so we are getting this sort of truth bomb. So that's one aspect of it. And because it's in Aries, now Aries is militarization. Aries is physical force. And you can see physical force.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. Yeah.
In a very negative way to suppress our freedom of speech, our dissent. That's going to have a harder time in the horse year.
Okay.
As we've got horses like to run together. People come out in freezing weather. I was just watching a show, I think it was Rachel Maddow, talking about people out in Virginia in opposition to a new ICE facility, a concentration camp being built in their area. Lines in freezing weather, lines around the building to get in. And of course, they voted it down. So things like that. Look at your local, what can you do locally? Where what you believe in is concerned, right?
I love that. I love that. Around the same time, though, could we be looking at, military events in places like Iran or Venezuela?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. Okay. What Aries brings is militarization. 0 degrees. Again, the first and last degree of any planet. And they may be fighting. They will be fighting for the wrong things. Most fights initiated will be for the wrong reason, unfortunately, with that. But there will be a pushback. Again, the horse year, everyone wants to be free. And people that want to be free will group together and disrupt and express. And, it'll be wild.
Okay, well, here's a question. Do we really want to know the answer to this question? Okay. Is there going to be more of these Alex Preddy, Renee Good type incidents during this little time frame that you're talking about?
I'm afraid so, and I do hate to say that. Um, even though I think there's been a little bit of, definitely it's going to be harder for them to happen. But I want to say that unfortunately more stuff happening behind closed doors.
I know.
In ways where they can perpetrate more violence inside these basically camps. It's terrible. I'm very glad that Liam Ramos was released. He and his father were released, but there were so many children and parents, people that shouldn't be in those camps. No one should be in a concentration camp. And that's
and part of why that happened, you guys all saw this, is because there was video. Because there were cameras, there were pictures.
Right.
We all saw that kid in his little Spider-Man backpack and thought, oh my God, is this what we're paying money for? I'm not okay with that.
Right. When you pay your taxes, it might help to say the unity prayer and or whatever. And
I love the unity prayer. It's so beautiful.
Well, yeah. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. And I would say the good in, right? And I would almost like mentally allocate my tax money. Don't not pay your taxes, but mentally allocate where this goes.
Food stamps.
Right. If that's something you believe in, yes, right. Feed people. I mean, let's all agree that everyone should be fed, right? So hopefully
I think we can pretty much agree with that.
For saying that, right? I'm just on the side of everyone should have freedom. Everyone should be fed. And you know what? If we get in the idea in our mind that this person's freedom is my freedom, would I fight for my freedom? Yes. Well, then I will fight for my neighbor's freedom.
I agree with you on that. I think we can all agree on that one. Go ahead.
I was going to say another thing I was looking mainly at the Chinese astrology, the Lunar New Year, but in this chart of the lunar eclipse, which begins the new year, the Sabian symbol, which I love these Sabian symbols, is a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis, which I think is one of the most beautiful symbols in the whole book, an astrological mandala by Dane Rudyard. And I told on previous my videos and yours, I told the history of this. It's an older book where a medium and an astrologer sat and visualized a symbol for every degree of the zodiac. Well, this one is a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. How do you want to transform yourself and the world this year? There's a whole lot of energy going toward that. So many of us are going to have wonderful adventures in this year that we never even could have predicted, right? So I think that's very cool. That's our symbol for this new year. So what's going on right now, I don't think is necessarily going to be going on in another year in the same way, at least, a lot will come to light. How can you change your life? Through changing your environment, first of all, right? If you read the book Atomic Habits, that's more than half the battle. If you don't have Little Debbie cakes in your fridge, you probably
those are so good. Those are so good, by the way, you guys.
Oh my God.
As you can see, I've had a few.
But yeah, I mean, it's harder with a kid, right? Keeping good stuff in the fridge. But
what's my excuse?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But that's just my excuse, right? Oh, I'm getting these for my kid. But yeah, maximize and optimize your environment. Use the next 2 weeks to do that. We also have a Mercury retrograde. I'll talk about that in a second. Jesus.
I forgot about that. That's happening again. Jeez.
It happens when it happens at like clockwork every 3 to 4 months, right? It's a quarterly thing. But I never freak about it, people. I don't. You know what I freak about? Void moons. Don't do stuff during a void moon. Mercury retrograde, you can do stuff, but back it up, right? Research it, that sort of thing. If you can do it before Mercury goes retrograde on the believe the 22nd of February, we start entering the storm period where things are slowing down. And I think it's the 26th. I wrote it down somewhere here that it actually goes retro. And I've dropped all my note cards on the floor. So I don't have that. But I think it's the 26th. Yes, through the 20th of March, Mercury's retro. Things are going to get more interesting during that time. And a lot of things that happen during that time can be reversed. So it's okay. Maybe painstaking, but plan accordingly. Till about the 28th of March, then it goes back. It's out of its storm. But you may get great ideas. I've said this before, it's like being drunk. And like some of your ideas, you think, that's the greatest idea ever. And then you wake up and you're like, no, that was a terrible idea. Right. But some will be really outside the box. That's another horse year thing, right? So think outside the box, go on little Einstein walks and, get the, download your guidance, change your environment, change your habits slowly but surely.
I love what you're saying too, because it's like a lot of us, and in me, I'm three fingers pointing back at myself on this one, get caught up in politics, getting caught up in drama on television, and forget to work on our own stuff. It's like that book I've been working on writing. It's just sitting on my hard drive. It's on page 3.
God.
Like,
oh God,
why am I doing that? And why am I doom scrolling instead of just like sitting down and writing that damn thing? You know what I mean?
Well, if you use timers,
yeah, you're right.
I find that to be so helpful. Hey, I can doom scroll for 6 minutes. And then I got to do something for 20 minutes.
Good for you.
How
about the other way around?
I know that's what you want.
That's what I've been doing.
It doesn't serve you. Like it depletes. You want to ask, what is this doing for my energy? Right. With everything,
So, client questions came up in the comments. I thought I would ask you, what's going on with Ukraine? Like, do you see improvement in that in this time frame, or is it going to get a little worse?
Well, there's been some outing of Putin related stuff connected to the Epstein files and other things where, I would look at this Tulsi Gabbard thing a little bit more.
Oh my God. I know that's going to be, you guys, that's going to be cray.
So Russia tied.
Which was already, there was all kinds of warnings in the news about that. We knew that.
We already knew that.
We did it anyway.
Just the scope of corruption, the oligarchy,
allegedly for entertainment purposes only.
Yes, for entertainment. I think you're going to see it seem to go backward and then a dramatic push forward in the horse year manner that says, hell no, freedom for my people. And here's what we're going to do. So that will be probably around the eclipse time period.
And that's the
17th
and the 27th?
Yeah, because that magical gateway, we can affect so much and a lot happens. And militarily, especially now because of the Aries, Saturn Neptune conjunction, we've got Mars in Aquarius coming. It's unusual, disruptive, military. Unfortunately, tourism, as you say, events could also happen during this time. I don't like to predict that. I don't like to say that. I just say be aware of your surroundings, be as centered as possible. And that's a good way. Like if you're driving and you're centered and you're on task with it, nobody's going to hit you. That's one of my Oprah, no, for sure. I shouldn't say Oprah. She's another of the bad billionaires as far as I'm concerned, but it's one of my know for sure things is generally when we are present, self-contained, centered, shiz doesn't happen to us. So
economy stuff, year of the horse. How does it affect the economy?
Well, there will be some really wonderful new startup things happening, and maybe
it's something that you guys start up, you guys watching.
Right. This would be the time if you're thinking of doing something and you've researched it so importantly, because the horse, well, it's a fire horse year. The horse is air. It's all about the mental. And so you have had to do your homework. You've run your comps, you've done all these things. You know what you're doing. It's still a bold leap forward. You've got your team, more important than anything right now, around you to do this thing, right? You've got your support, your coaching, your whatever, your accountability group, your people that are going to help you with things that you're not as good at, but they're great at it. So this is a year to get help from others, delegate some of these things, even if you're uncomfortable, especially if you're uncomfortable doing that. But yes, there's going to be some really interesting, cool startups, I think, related to both the environment. You're going to see, oh, wow, that takes care of a big problem that we're like running headlong into that problem. And it's not going to be solved right now and for the next few years, most likely through the government sector. It's going to be like, there's going to be things that you're like, okay, I get how the private sector can really be a benefit. So you'll see that. And those are the things I would look at. People that want to invest in startups, I think you're going to have an interesting year, right? People who have money to invest in things that you just, like, I've done my research, I feel this is a thing, so that'll be interesting. There will be technological advances, of course. We'll continue that. I know we've had a lot of recent technological advances, but even more so. Again, it's a thinking animal, right? And aligning with the right group. I can't say that enough, to align with the right people during this time.
I love that. How do you feel about AI stuff in this year?
Now that's interesting because you're getting a lot of pushback to AI, and AI is kind of screwing up too right now.
No shit. Oh my God. You guys, can I have a minute,
Okay.
a soapbox here?
Okay,
So
yes.
way back when you would Google something, like ask for medical advice, like how much, how high is too high of cholesterol, right? Used to be that Google would show you a bunch of things. And if it was Bob's blog, I knew that Bob's blog might not be the most reliable source of information, but maybe Harvard Medical Center. Well, okay, maybe they say it's true. Now, I don't know where they got this number, but I'm like, how can I turn it off and make it so it used to be like where I used to get information and I saw the actual source. You guys all feel that way about it too? Or is that?
Yeah, I would say, okay, Google's a huge company. Are there other search engines? Are there other ways to get this information? Because sometimes, when I was talking to someone recently and she's, ChatGPT lies sometimes. It gives you the wrong information, and it actually has a sexist bias. Because
really?
As a country, we have a sexist, as a world, unfortunately, for the most part, there is a sexist bias. And that struck me as, take what you get from ChatGPT and other sources with a bit of a grain of salt. And maybe, again, some of us, going back to sort of more old-fashioned ways of getting the thing, whether it be a package or some information, might actually benefit us. So I think that AI is sort of, I'm trying to say it in a non, pooed the bed a little bit.
Yeah.
And that you can tell immediately. They're like, oh, look at this demonstration that just happened in support of ICE. And you've got people out there in the cold wearing their 4th of July clothes and stuff. I'm like, oh, right. And then you've got people with 3 legs and 5 arms. So there's a sort of that's bull pucky. Whereas we thought it was going to be so good, right? Or the average person thought it was going to be so good that we wouldn't be able to tell that this was not Nancy Pelosi saying this. It was, an AI version. It could improve, but there will be ways to detect. I don't think right now it's as big as a harm as, there's certainly people that believe that. A bunch of people were out in their summer clothing supporting ice in a snowstorm. But
You weren't one of them, Jackleen?
no.
Something you said earlier, I want to go back to because I feel like it was important, and I think we just sort of went past it. You said that if we were going to make changes, that doing it before May would be helpful. Did I catch that right?
Yes, and using this eclipse energy will be helpful. There's going to be a time of after these eclipses, and after we get out of the Mercury retrograde. So let's just say March 28th and beyond. I feel like important events around that time period that give us the opportunity to then follow up. I believe there's kind of a No King's March or something big on March 28th, now that I mentioned that. And then what do you do immediately following that? There's, I listened to Resistance Live, which I love.
I love that show. She's got so much energy. Even sometimes I disagree with some of her you guys, I don't agree with everything everybody says to me, right. even my tribe, but I love her energy so much. Resistance Live, you guys should check it out.
Yeah. But
she's a lawyer, just to let you know. She's a lawyer.
She can shed legal light on
legal light, which I love.
Because people say so many stupid things. Like they were saying, oh, Pam Bondi was involved in the Epstein files. She was the blah, blah, blah of Florida during this time. She was not in that jurisdiction. And so, there's a lot of wild stuff. Make sure you vet where you're getting your information. And if you have someone like her or another legal commentator that some of these people that are big on YouTube are not legal. They don't have the legal wherewithal to tell us that this is exactly what that means. So occasionally we get false information from big names. Imagine that, right? Right. So you just have to, everything, go the old Google, the old like Yahoo. Remember the Yahoo searches?
I know,
in
right?
the day when we first started thinking about what a search engine was. Go and do your sort of smoke signal, how should I say it? Morse code, like older school.
Go to the library.
Go to the library. Oh my God. Go to the library anyway, because you can rule out Amazon if you can get the cloud library. And they're called different things in different cities, but you can get your audiobooks, your ebooks, your books from the library. Yeah. So do that. What was I talking about?
Oh, May. We were talking about May. So after May, is it going to be harder for certain things to happen, or
I think so, because things are going to set. Now, things are going to set a little bit more, and we're gonna feel this like closing of the gates, right, wherever we are. And it's just going to be harder to affect change, I think, once we've gone through this malleable period of the eclipse time period, which all of us should try to change our lives in the 2 weeks between eclipses, right? We should take some bigger risks. We should, do some activism, whatever that is for us, right? And if you believe in religion, do what your God deity would do during that time. Be charitable. So change your life, change the world. No pressure within that 2 week time period, in which we also have a Mercury retrograde. But there'll be a time after where there's a knowing that wasn't there before. And I would say the more we can be in our body and meditation, in taking what I call those Einstein walks, where we take our mind off the problem we're trying to solve, go for a walk. That's how Einstein got his great insights, right? The insights are floating around right now. It's crazy. We've got Mars in Aquarius, we've got the sun now in Aquarius. That it's just it's the sign of the visionary. How can you be a visionary and work toward that grand vision? And not just for yourself, but for the world, for your family, yourself, the world. Everything you wish for yourself, wish for the world.
I love what you're saying, because intuitively I almost see it as like little packets of inspiration in the air. It's like, do you want to go grab one? Go grab one.
Like butterflies.
Exactly, like little butterflies.
Of that Sabian symbol, right? To me, the symbol of a butterfly not only is a transformation, but it's just this lighter than air, ethereal and beautiful thing that we would not have had we stayed inside, and had we not gone for the walk, or had we not paid attention to the small things that are happening around us.
I would encourage people, if I can throw in one little thing with that, because what you're describing sounds like just reminds me of driving when I was a kid, learning to drive with stick shift. You put the clutch in if you wanted to go to a different gear, and you could decide if you wanted to go to second gear and go faster, or fourth gear and stall the car. But it feels like you're almost describing a little period of time here where the clutch is in, we can make decisions about what we want to, which direction we want to do. If we want to go in reverse, we can do that.
Yeah, we could go in reverse. You know? If we decide not to decide, in the words of Rush, we still have made a choice, right? What's that song? I don't know, but
I don't know which one you're talking about. Somebody's typing it in the comments right now.
Decide, you still have made a choice. I believe it's Rush. Yeah.
Is it? That sounds like them.
Yeah.
I can't think of the song, but it sounds like them.
Yeah.
But the other thing I would say too is that it also sounds like you're saying people like you and I, just ordinary people, are getting a chance to make massive change in a way that maybe we didn't think we could before.
Right. And however you want to do it, the best way to make changes, of course, is locally in your own community. What needs doing there?
I'm thinking of something right now that I would love to see in my own city.
We all have that. You know,
I'm thinking about going to city council and asking for a stop sign, and I'm like, really? Could I do that? Yeah, I could do that. Yes, I could. I mean, they might say no, but I'm like, somebody's going to die here at this intersection if they don't put in a stop sign.
And they do that. They put in two stop signs by the last place I was living. One of them was sorely needed, and the next one was just overkill. But they did it because the community said, hey, people are getting hit by cars when they cross this road, you know? So yes, 100%. I would first, in doing that, I would compile the evidence. You know, so-and-so was in this, you know, at this time, you know, so get all the evidence you can, go in there, and then bring in the personal. Me and my kid or dog or whatever cross the street, and, you know, my neighbor who's in her 80s.
There you go.
Woman, like you're, you know.
In a wheelchair with her service dog.
Right. So, you know, you make it personal.
Yeah.
My neighbor, you know, had a close call at this intersection. Yeah, 100% get local with your activism, and nothing is too small, right? It's what you believe in. I did think the other day, someone was like, posted something about paid parking in Balboa Park. Now that pisses me off too, but I almost feel like, let's not dust the deck chairs right now. Like, our neighbors are getting carried off, right? You know, and a stop sign, that is life affirming, right?
Well, having paid that parking fee in Balboa Park last week, I can understand why people are pissed.
How much was it?
$15.
For all
we went
day,
we went to the zoo though. San Diego Zoo, by the way, you guys. San Diego Zoo. If you're in San Diego, go to San Diego Zoo. It's amazing. It's amazing. But be prepared to pay for parking.
Yeah. Okay.
And it used to be free.
I might personally direct my activism elsewhere.
You're right. Shouldn't be clutching my pearls. I did get to see some gorillas.
Because, you know, and I get it. It's not accessible for everyone. So that might be your thing. That actually might be your thing. Don't let me rain on your parade if that
no
is
wet blanketry on that one.
No, I'm not going to throw the Saturn wet blanket, but make sure you're, you know what, ask yourself what's most important to me now, I guess. And I can do that when the bigger threat has passed. I might see like, I'm getting peeved by this parking fee.
Parking fee to go to the museum used to be free.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I personally think we need I know I'm going to get heat for this, but I think we need a Mom Donnie in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, not being in
now.
San Diego, I don't know what's going on there. I will say that the roads in San Diego are much better than in parts of Washington,
Mhm.
having driven on both, fewer potholes,
Yeah,
but there's still
okay.
more potholes than there were before.
Oh yeah, whenever it rains, forget about it. There's tons of potholes. Anyway, we got
Anyway,
off on a
on for
tangent.
San Diego news here. Thank you for that. Wrapping this up, Jackleen, is there anything I didn't think to ask that you meant to say and I kind of glossed over it?
Oh my gosh,
What's important to
I'm
you?
sure there was, and I'll be like, at 3 a.m.
Just
I'll
be
be like,
kicking
oh,
yourself later.
I should have said that, you know. But just, I would say the biggest thing is clean your house now, get ready for the new year. Expect to have a great year. Expect to do things in support of that. You know, it's like saying, hey, universe, you meet me halfway. Here are the things I'm going to do. Here's what I want, but be creative with it, right? Because a lot of us are going to get what we want, but in a completely different package. And I think that's half the fun, right? So I think a lot of us will have moves, job changes, maybe new businesses started.
New boyfriends, girlfriends.
I believe so. I believe there will be a lot of that, because what is a time of the eclipse without having a few relationships fall apart, or, you know, if your relationship survives an eclipse cycle, great, right? But if the eclipse cycle brings up things to be talked about, and your partner is receptive, that's great too. If not, you know, it's just like the old thing in your closet that's, oh, it's okay, but it's not great. I would say give it away, donate it.
Donate to your partner to Goodwill.
Right.
But only if they're in good condition.
In expectation that the better thing is on its way to you.
I love what you just said, though. That, you know, I love the idea of getting rid of that pair of pants. It's just a little too tight.
Yeah.
In anticipation of,
yeah,
you'll get better ones when you drop the LBs. You'll get what you really want.
Right,
I love that.
Right.
I love that.
So,
Jackleen, I'm
guilty.
Huh?
All of us are guilty of saving things for.
I'm just thinking of something right now that I feel guilty about getting rid of, because it's really nice and it's kind of expensive, but like I've used it twice in 5 years. I'm like,
right.
You know, somebody at charity will be looking at this and be so excited about it.
Right. 100%. That's a wonderful way to give to charity too. Someone's going to love this.
Somebody's going to love this. Is exactly what they wanted.
I'm giving this to the world to recycle and repurpose.
Yeah, so much different energy than feeling guilty every time I open the closet and see $300 product there that I haven't used it twice.
Anything that makes you feel any less, you know, that saps your energy during this time. Just get ready to run like with the horses.
Or you can either eat those Little Debbie cakes or you can throw them away. Either way.
You know, donate them to your kids' school or something.
Yeah, don't buy another package though. Yeah. Jackleen, I'm going to put all of your stuff in the comments, and obviously your name is on the screen. I'm pointing right at it. You guys can see.
Yeah.
How can they reach you?
My website, JackleenHolton.com. You can schedule online. If you want to see my favorite readings to do are your chart and the chart of the year, and what you would benefit most to focus on. Those are my favorite readings to do, and I'm doing that right now for everyone I'm talking to. I'm saying, okay, here's you, and here's this eclipse year, you know, this new year starting on the eclipse. Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna give Jackleen a shout out. I'm gonna tell you now, I'm married to a great guy now. Okay, but what I had a few frogs. And Jackleen heard about all of them. And there were plenty of times when she pulled up his chart and my chart, and there was one that was really funny. And you're like, is it possible he's gay? And I'm like, no, he's not gay. It's not like, it turns out he was bisexual, but which wouldn't have been my first choice. Let's put it that way. But anyway,
right. Okay.
But see, Jackleen is good at that. Like if you got the dude's birthday, she's good at a lot of things, but that's one in particular. She's particularly good at and saying it in a nice way, like, you know.
Well, not just that, because
no, but she's good at a lot of things. I'm not saying
sometimes
that one in particular sticks out in my mind because it was very helpful.
Yeah. But I can point out where problems could arise. Let's put it that way. Some people don't want to know that, but you know, same thing with a year. Like here are some challenges you could have, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because basically both of those things are a bi-wheel, which is your chart in the middle, the chart of the partner, or the year on the outside. And so if that person is compared with your chart, what are the goods and maybe challenges, and are they workable? There are some relationships where I will tell people to run like hell. I can never say this is the one, right? But I can say, wow, this is worth pursuing because A, B, and C. So astrology is the science of compatibility.
I know. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The year,
The shout out
person,
you didn't want, sorry,
whatever.
but I just remember that. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, oh, I remember she was right about like every single one of those guys. She was awesome. You're awesome, Jackleen. Thank you so much for coming on. And thank you guys for liking and subscribing, putting nice things in the comments. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. And I think you're wonderful. And it's going to be okay, you guys. I promise it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But clean your house and do your stuff. Anything else, Jackleen?
No, have a happy new year when it comes. And yeah, I think we're in for some good things. And if I were to bet on humanity, I would bet we're going to go in the right direction, the direction of love, not hate, and the direction of freedom, not constriction.
I 100% agree with you on that. 100%. Okay, with that, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.